Hey guys, here we go with tonight's stream, and the first thing we are going to look at is what we were working on this afternoon, which is finishing off our crafting. Now, you'll remember that we were adding the crafted item to the inventory, and then we were removing it, but it wasn't working, right? And that was because we were getting the row, but then we weren't comparing the correct number in the struct recipe to the correct number that were being passed in, and then only removing them if we got that value, right? So basically what was happening is it was passing in the wrong thing to the row number here, and we were basically getting nothing back. So I haven't tested this yet, but we are going to test it now to find out if we've fixed the issue, and I'm sure we have, right? Or if we haven't, we'll just fix it again. Right, now that's not a good idea because we need to pick up that, we need to pick up that. Okay, so we can look at our inventory. We've got 2 deer meat, which is exactly what we want. We can go in here and we can craft our deer meat, and you'll see that we're coming in here, we are stepping over, and this is where it was basically falling out. Okay, but now we are stepping over and we are removing items from the inventory. Okay, so now we can't really do that. We're going to exit, right? We're going to fix that tooltip. We're going to hit inventory, and it hasn't removed it. Interesting. So we have an issue with our logic, I believe, either in here or this is not quite right. So we're going to have to do this again and jump into the code at the appropriate time. So pick that up, in here, pick that up, and you'll see if we resume again, okay, we've got this item. Now if we step into this, we're going to see the quantity and the item number. So we're looking for item number 4. The quantity is 2, right? And we've got our pawn. So we're going to step over. Now the interesting thing to look at here is what we've got in our inventory at this point, right? And you can see there that we have a number 4 and the quantity is 2. Okay, so we are looking at this and we're looking at this. So we step over, step over, step over, step over. Okay, so this now looks like we have a problem. So we're going to add the breakpoint. Okay. And we're going to hit it again. Now, it shouldn't work at this point, but we've obviously got a bug, and that's why it is going to do this. And that says O's nose. Right, so in theory, we don't have this anymore. Okay? Which is right, funnily enough. So that's bizarre. Okay, so our code knows that we can't do this anymore, but our inventory has basically said that we have. Okay. So we're going to close this, right? Then we're going to check off this. And this is remove item from inventory, okay? And what I want add breakpoint, add breakpoint, and we want to see what this does. Okay. And we want to see the values at each point. Right, so this is when we really want to have our breakpoints and check values at the correct time. Right, so we basically want to do that. We're going to bring it up so that we can see it. We can resume and resume, right, and we can resume. So the question is, this is false, okay? Which can be true, right, if this number is not number 4. So remember, in our inventory at the moment, we do have a number 15, right? 15 is the big deer meat, okay? And number 4 is the standard deer meat, okay? So if we look at our thing there, if you notice the fourth one down is 4 with a quantity of 2, right? And that's the one that should change here. Then if you notice in the very bottom line, it's got 15, okay? So we resume, and it didn't do anything. It didn't loop. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so we're going to put a print string in here then. to find out what the issue is. So we're going to say print string. Right, we'll put it up here. And we're going to do an append. And we're going to say item to remove. Okay. And that's our item that we're going to remove. Okay. When we're going to add a pin, and add a pin, and add a pin. Then here we're going to put a few spaces. Right? And then we're going to say item checked against. Okay. And that's going to be this one. Actually, it should be the other way around, I believe. Let's have a look here. No, it's item to remove. And this one is wait a minute, there we go. That's not right. Ah, okay, we're gonna have to change this. Right, because we're using one type there, and what we actually need is another one here. And we're going to need an OR on this. Right? So we type in our OR. Right? And put that in there. Okay. So we're going to try that. So basically it can be either the name or the number. And those are so different that they're never going to overlap, right? They're just not. Right, so we basically do that. Then resume. Resume again. Resume again. Resume again. Now we get this. Okay. We've got a true, obviously. Right. Then we step over, and that is correct, remove index, right? Because basically we've got 2, we're removing 2, and therefore it's right. Okay. So that is kind of what we expected, or is the result that we actually want. Okay, now what I'm going to do is resume that. Okay, then if we get out of there, okay, and we press that, we're left with the one thing that we made. Okay, and that's great. Now, the thing we're also going to do here is we're going to go to our crafting item. Right, we're going to change this slightly. So we're going to delete that, we're going to delete that, we're probably going to delete that. We can put that there. Since this isn't working too well and we're not really doing an awful lot with it, what we're going to do is get widgets of class, and it's going to be tool, craft item tooltip, right, and then we're just going to basically do that, and then we're going to move this across, and then for each we're going to remove this, that'll be us, and there we go. We have the basic operation of our crafting. Now I'm going to have to speak to my colleague on this, on what he actually wants and how he wants this designed, right? Because I'm just going off a quick, you know, type of thing. Now, what we could also do here is actually, since we've got our sort buttons, okay, we can do something with that, okay, and that is in our crafting main. So what we can do here is create a variable, right, and it's going to be item type, and it's going to be enter actable type, I think it is. In fact, I think it's called enum interactable type. Okay, we'll save that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go for our button all on clicked, button closed on clicked, button food on clicked, button fuel on clicked, button tools on clicked. Okay, and we are basically going to we don't actually need a variable for this, to be fair. Suppose it's kind of handy either way, but in the end we have our full crafting grid, right, and this is probably the best way to do it. Okay, so we've got button all, button close, food, fuel, tools, right. Now let's have a look at the design, see if we've missed any out. All, food, 2, 3, 4, that's all the buttons we have at the moment. We might need another one, but we're not going to worry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the one here, Okay, this one's slightly different, and that's just going to be show all. Okay, then in here, right, we're going to set the item type for each one, right? So we're going to do that, then we're going to duplicate them both. Okay. We're going to set the item type, then we're going to pick the right one, clothing, food, fuel, and tools. Oh, don't have a tools. Okay, we'll say other for now. Okay, then since we need a little bit more space, right? There's no premium price on space in Unreal Engine. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that. Okay. We're going to uncheck that. Then we're going to drag in our item type. That's going to go in there. Right? And then we basically plug all these in. Now if there's any more than this, I would have probably ended up doing it as a reroute node and then just joining them up to the reroute node, but that's going to do us. Right, so next thing's next. We can test this, and we don't need anything to test it with. We can just go up to it. We get a really big deer meat. Click on that. Nothing. Right, food and drink. We get the really big deer meat. Clothing. Nothing. All really big deer meat. And there we go. Okay, so we've got our sorting going. And now, as you can see, our thing's going away, which is excellent. Hey, hi there, Cassadell Gaming. How are you doing tonight? We are just finishing off the minimum requirements to crafting, and it's working. So we have our one recipe at the moment, right, which is really big deer meat, and it needs 2 small deer meats to make it, right? So we can go in here and we can craft it. Okay, so got some breakpoints in here that we need to be removing now because it's all working. Right, resume that, we can remove that. Resume that, we can remove that. Okay, we can resume that and get out of there. So now, forget that, that's because I, what do we called it? That's because I had the breakpoints in. Okay, so now if we hit this, we've got a really big deer meat, right? And we don't have our other things now anymore because we've used them in the crafting. Okay. So we have a base crafting system working. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, let's add another item, right? Just to check how well this does or doesn't work. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add, right? That becomes row 16. Item name becomes arrow shaft. Right? 16. We'll say weapon. Do we have a weapons thing? Or not? It was tools one we didn't have, wasn't it? Right, we'll say 0.1. Right? And this is going to be, this is the image. Right, apparently I can't spell. Right, now I don't know if Ken has done the images for the arrows. Apparently not. So we'll just use that. Right. And that's an arrow head. Right, apparently we've got 8 arrowheads but no arrows. We'll go with that. Okay. So we're going to save that. Then we're going to go into our recipes. Okay, and we're going to add one here. Right, and this is going to be 16. We're going to say 5. Right, then we actually need one of these, and we're going to output 5, right? So we need this, and it's a number 1. Okay, 1. So we save that. Okay, we press play. Right, we're going to pick this up. And you'll notice now we've got our 2. Right, and if we click that, I think we did it. Right, and then we exit. Okay, and there you go, we've got arrow shaft. Okay, pretty cool. Don't know why it's coming up white. Ah, it's because the whole thing's white, isn't it? Okay, whatever. But if we go back into here and we stop it, it kind of proves that it's working, right? In here, right? We probably don't want to use that. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll use Fox, right? Right, because that's going to be obvious. Okay, so we'll save that, and then that'll tell us if we've got an issue with the inventory slot. Right. Ah, wait a minute. Right. Craft. Right, so that's done it. Inventory, and there we go. So it would appear to me now that we probably need messages. Okay, that's obvious. And we need a timer on this of some description. Okay. So I think we'll play with that. Okay. So, tell you what, let's have a look at what we've got here, right? This is our page, right? Now, here's the thing. I think we want to split this in two, right? So that we can basically say what we are crafting and what's in our inventory. Yeah? So that you can see at the time what you're going to be using, right? And these are updated so that you can see what you've got left and then what's actually went into your actual inventory. Okay? So I think what we'll do is we'll do left hand side crafting, right hand side inventory. Okay? So let's do it, shall we? Always fun. Right, so we've got a horizontal box, which we probably don't want. We've got a horizontal box up the top there, which is fine, and that's inside a vertical box, which is fine. Then we've got that canvas panel with that in it. And the weight there. Then we have our scroll box. Okay. So it looks to me like in our vertical box here, after our title, we want this to be wrapped in a horizontal box. We might actually even put it in a grid panel. But I'll put it in a horizontal box for now. Right, this is the top one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of duplicate this. Okay. And that's going to be fill. That's going to be fill. Okay. Now what we're going to do is rename these to give us a bit of a better idea. So we'll call that CP Craft, and we'll call this CP Inventory, except we'll have inventory. Now we don't really need these to be what's the word I'm looking for here? We don't need these to be variables, right? Now we're going to close that down for now. Then we're going to open up our CV. These are going to have like and it's items available, and then probably have we got inventory? Yeah, we do. Right, so we're not going to have this. Actually, yeah, we are. I'm going to take it off of this one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to delete that. And then this horizontal box, I'm going to pop it to there. Okay. Then GP crafting slots is going to get changed to inventory slots. Right. And then all we need to do now is go to our inventory, main, right, then go to our graph, and basically do this. Right, now this works slightly differently, but we kinda can do that. So we can copy that, wait a minute, yeah, we don't need this part, but anyway, we can go to where we were, right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do function fill inventory grid. Okay, we're going to paste that in. Right, we're not going to use this. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say ref char. We're going to get a ref char, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our inventory. And I didn't think that was going to work. Then we are going to do a for each loop. Okay, and that is hopefully going to go in there. Okay, it's not going to go in there, but we'll work that out in a second. We're going to delete that. We're not going to use that. This struct item okay, we're going to make that then we're going to break that and the interesting thing here is we're just going to do that. And hopefully, once we've done all that, this is all going to magically work. But we shall see in a second. Right, so if I compile that, it's compiled. So now, what we can do is go back to our event graph. Right, we're on our event graph, then we're going to do that. We're going to save that. Let's see what happens, huh? I guess. Fill that. Fill that. Right, we'll grab our log. We'll go to crafting. And there we go. How's about that? Okay. Now we need to sort this stuff out, but you'll notice that we've got our hovers that are different and all the rest of it. And there we go. How's about that then? On that, I'm going to have a quick break for a cigarette. I shall be back in about 5 minutes. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for more links on how to interact with me and the game and the level designer and stuff like that. And we shall be right back. So as I said, don't go anywhere guys. I'll be back in a moment or two. Alright guys, we're back. So let's carry on with this. Now you'll notice here that these aren't quite right, okay? They're not filling out properly. So we're going to check the settings on these. These are a much better size, right? And the padding on this is not quite right either. We need more space available here. Okay, so let's deal with that, shall we? So, I'm going to go to our designer, right? And we're just going to basically not do so much an offset. Right, so we can just basically 50, 50, 50 it. Right, now this one is going to be slightly different. Okay. So we're going to have to do a bit of jiggery pokery here, because the likes of this thing and this are going to have to move slightly, and this is going to have to move slightly, but the offset to the right is still going to be 50. Okay, and we're going to have to change our row count maximum as well, right? So we might actually get away with that if we move this weight down a bit, this horizontal box. Right, we can easily get these in line. Now there is no outside box, so that's going to be looking okay, right? But the items available thing is basically going to have to be 10. And this inventory thing is also going to have to be 10. So we're moving everything basically 50 pixels, right? And that's going to be good. Now, the one difference here is we're going to have a look at our inventory slots to see how those are set up and how they differ from our crafting slots. Okay. And for some reason we're using the inventory item. I don't know why we're doing that. Oh, I know why we're doing it. It's to get the black background. Right. But what we're going to do here is we're going to copy this, right? And the image size is set to 128 by 128. Okay. So we're going to go into our crafting item, I'm going to go to the graph. And we're going to say image size. Okay. And let's have a look at this. What is it? Image size is a vector 2D. So we're just going to basically do the same thing here. Vector 2D. We're going to compile it, right? Then we're basically going to say 128, 128. Then we're going to delete that. Then we're going to paste. We're going to delete that. Right, we're going to delete that. We're going to plug that in there. Then we're going to drag it back. Then we're going to drag in our image. Right, and then we're going to do that for all of them. Right, and drag this off to the side, drag that in, do that, drag that off there, do that, drag it back. Right. Let's see how that's looking now. Right, we don't need to see the inventory ones. And there we go. We've got the right size and stuff. Right, and we're going to have 4 by 4, right? So we're going to escape that. Okay. We're going to go back to our crafting main. Okay. Then we're going to grab this. And this is going to get changed to 4. Then we're going to grab this. And that already is 4, so that's okay. Okay, and that's us basically sorted that issue out before it becomes one. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our event graph. Right. In our craft item, once everything is complete, okay, we are going to refresh our 2 things. So we're going to actually just fill the inventory grid again, right? And then we're going to make sure It does clear the children, so that's good. So now let's do it, shall we? So we press play. Okay. Pick that up. Pick that up. Pick that up. Craft. Okay. Then it says O's nose. Don't know why. It says O's nose. Don't know why. Why is it saying? Why is it saying no? Why is it suddenly not working? Okay. Well, the only reason it can be doing it is because of this. Right? And breakpoint. Is this just some weird thing that's happened? Right, save current. File. Save all. Okay. Let's try that again, shall we? See what the issue is here. So we're going to press play. Right, so we've got our two things. Right. Now we're going to craft, and we're going to craft this thing here. And there we go. Okay. Now if I click this one, it should say oh no, which it did. Right, oh no's. Right. Now if I click this one again, it should say oh no's, which it did. If I go to here, take that, go to here, and click on that. Oh, well that's interesting. Oh, that is interesting. So I'm guessing here that something is getting set or reset that isn't quite right. It says 16. Okay. Requires item number 1. Okay. Now this doesn't seem right. required item is 1. Right, so that's okay. So that should be 16, right? Now, I'm wondering here, I'm going to stop it for now. I'm going to test my hypothesis. I think it's only happening if I have other things in the inventory. Okay? So, what I'm saying here is, if I just go and pick up the wood, right, it'll quite happily do this one. And there we go, right? But if I have more in my inventory, it seems to fail, right? Which is kind of strange, right? So let's have a look. So that's fine. Pick up that, right? We'll pick up our wood. Okay. So we say craft, we've got our 2 different things there. Now if we click on this, it says, oh no. Ah, right, okay. So the problem is here. Right? So we're going to add a breakpoint here. Right. Okay. I have to think about this one here. Okay. This has to go. Right? We have to branch on this. Okay. And this has to go here. So if we've got the right item but we haven't got the right number, we set it to doesn't have it, right? But we don't want to check against items that we don't actually need. Okay? So I think that should have solved the issue. Let's find out, shall we? And as you can see here, I've got most of the operations working. After I fix this one up, make sure this is working, then we basically have all of the things to craft. Okay, so yeah, do that, resume that. Right, wait a minute. Something weird happened there. Right, stop that. Okay, what's going on here? Right, we'll stick a breakpoint here. Still something weird going on here with this, by the looks of it. We do want to check this. But at least we know where the problem lies, right? Which is the main thing here. We know that the problem lies when we've got items that are in our inventory that we don't actually want to check against, okay, because they're not in the recipe. Okay, so if we click that, okay, we want to know, hi Stormrun, that's true. Okay, now the interesting thing is going to be, what is this? False. And now the super interesting thing is, what is that? It's a 4. Okay, and we require 2. Right, so it says we've got 4 and we've got a quantity of 2. Have I got that the wrong way around? I've got that the wrong way around. Not that it should actually matter in this case, right? But it should be if our inventory is greater than or equal to the quantity required. No, that is the quantity required. Right, this is the quantity required. So I was right. Duh. Right. So this should not be false. Okay, this should not be false. Right, that should be 2, which it was. Right. So we're going to enable the breakpoint again. And Yeah, we're going to have to go like that, pick that up, go like that, pick that up, go over here. Up, we need to grab this, pick that up. Craft, then go like that. Okay. So, we require item number 4. Ah, that's a good start. We've got 2 and we require 2. Okay. So, if we step over, right? So, we're doing this, and it's true, right? So, whatever item this is, it's in our inventory, and that's true, right? Ah, wait a minute. We don't break anymore. Ah, yeah, we do. Ah, damn, I shouldn't have stopped that. Okay, we'll try it again. Right. Right. So, we step over, right? We require item number 2 of item number 4, and we've got 2 of item number 4. Okay? Step over, step over, step over, step over. Now, this should be true. That's true. That's true. So it should do nothing, right? Then this one should be false, right? So that's right. Step over. That's true. Step over. What? What? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Right? I'm going to stop this. Right? I'm not going to put a break in here. I'm just going to say for each loop. Right? And I'm just going to plug that in there. I'm going to plug that in there. I'm going to plug that in there. Then we're basically going to delete that and delete that. Well, the thing is, once you get more confident about what you're doing, you'll be able to stream. But the other thing is that it's interest. Some people find it interesting to see people learning stuff, right? Rather than, you know, just doing it. But nothing to stop you streaming it if you don't want. If you want to. Right. Let's try that and see if it makes any difference. These are the pesky little problems that basically take you all your time to fix, to bug hunt, to hunt down the bugs and get it to work. Right, now I'm going to go in here and remember it was actually crashing out at this point here as if it didn't have the correct thing. Right, I'm going to disable that, I'm going to disable that, and I'm going to add a breakpoint here, and then I'm going to resume, and that's true, so it should go to here. Right, and that's true. Resume that. Okay. Yeah, we used to do that for databases. We would basically print out screenshots of the data table layouts, or not the data table layouts, but the actual database tables. Temp can craft is true, so that's basically given us all the right results up to here. Except it didn't bloody well do it. Yeah, as I said, it helps that if you worked with data tables and stuff, databases and stuff, then it really does help you. Even then it can be quite confusing in the way that Epic have done it, but right. So we have the crafting items, right? So if we step over, we has supplies, we resume, right? So that's true. Disable that, resume, right? We can craft, disable, step over, step over, step over, step over, 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 resume. That worked. Right, if we do this one, resume, there we go. Don't ask me what happened earlier, it's just one of these weird things. Right, I'm going to try that again without all the breakpoints, and I'll tell you what we're going to do just to make it a bit better is we're going to go into our crafting item in designer, and we're going to delete this. Yes, then we're going to go in here and we're going to delete that and that and that. Okay, so that we don't have all the text. Okay. So we can do that. Okay. Which is fine and good and all is well with the world. We can do that. We can do that. And then we can do that. And all is well with the world. How's about that then, guys? A little crafting system. Okay. Now we're going to have to fix up this with the item descriptions, etc. But we can certainly do that. And we'll probably have to redesign it slightly, because that item, really big deer meat, isn't really that long a name. But I mean, we could size box it or scale box it, but that's going to make it like really small. But let me show you that, guys. Right, let me show you this storm run. Right, this will be handy for you. Okay. Right, if wait a minute. Yeah, we've got our inventory slot, right? And this is it here. No, it's not. It's our tooltip. Right, so let's go into our tooltip. So we go into inventory, right, and inventory tooltip, item tooltip in this case, right, you can see it there, right. Now all you need to do if we want to fix that, right, is basically wrap it with a scale box, okay. Now what it will do is it will scale the text to fit inside that box, right. So in theory, it's going to only do it on the inventory, so we're going to have to make the really big deer meat, okay. So now what we can do is click on that and then go over there, and you see how it sizes it, right, how it makes it fit. So that's really handy if you're doing the game in different languages, because like a very small word in English could be really long in French or in Spanish or something. Like, well, I don't know which is longer. Like, what was it? Le Syndicat d'Initiative, right? That's the Tourist Information Office. Now, I don't know what's actually longer, the French version or the English version, right? But, say for example, library is bibliothèque in French, right? So in English it's only like 7 letters, but in French it's like 11, right? Now that might not sound a lot, but there might be other versions. But you need to be careful how you do it, because like as you see, our item text for the header is way bigger now than the other one, right? Now, it's normally very good on buttons like this, right? Where you've got text and a button, right? And it's the only bit of text, so it doesn't really matter when it resizes it, right? But obviously if you've got it in a widget like this, where it's next to other text that's sized in a specific way, then it is going to look a bit weird, right? But I just wanted to show you the how you use a scale box, right? So my point being this: if I go to the main menu, right, and we go into the widgets and we go to here, right, basically all of these should be wrapped in a scale box, right, which they aren't, because basically this is taken from another asset, right, and they didn't do that. But what I would do in this case is just go around every single one of these and wrap it in a scale box, okay, and then that's basically it, ready for localization, right? There's nothing wrong with using a level, but I wouldn't use an actual level, right? I would use part of a level. Or I would build a level that looks like a normal level, but it's specifically designed to be only looked at from the angle that you want to see it on the title screen, right? And that's for two good reasons. Number one, is it's going to load faster because it's going to be limited. And number two, it's going to be easier in the long run. Right? Because under normal circumstances, you'll have a different controller for the menu. Right? I have a different player controller for the menu that I do for the game. Right? Because you don't want all the code for the menu in the code for the controller for the game, because it's pointless and just complicates matters, right? And sort of similarly, you should have a different game mode as well for the game, and a game mode for the menu, right? Because they're completely different actions. They're going to be doing different things, right? So they should be separate. So if you look at this, right? So for example, if I load in the main menu level, right? You will notice if I look at the world settings, it's MMPC, okay? Which is main menu player controller, okay? But if I look at the test map, it's the player controller isn't actually used. We're using the pawn, okay? So you separate the two of them out. You have a player controller for the menu, you have a player controller for the game. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I think we're at a good point here where we've just finished that crafting thing. I'm going to have to speak to my colleague about how he wants it to look. I know that he maybe wants, like, if it's a table that you can do certain things, or if it's like, I can't remember what it's called. What's it called, the wheel thing the blacksmith uses? What's that called again? God, can't remember. Forge, like a forge. Actually, the wheel thing isn't really a forge, is it? A forge is more like a big fire, right? But different crafting stations forge or craft different things. So like a forge would be used to do arrowheads, right? A table would be done to make like clothes, right? And maybe something else would be used to make arrows, right? Something like that, right? He was thinking of it that way. Now, I'm not 100% sure that's what he's going to end up doing, but I'll have to get an idea of what he thinks of the crafting, how he wants to do it, how he wants it to look, etc, etc. So, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord, also to my Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam, which is only $1, as I keep telling everybody. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow at 2 PM Central, and I hope to see you all again. And thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.